Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. When Brian Kelly announced that he was leaving Notre Dame to go to LSU, it shocked everyone. Everyone doubted whether or not Brian Kelly could succeed in the SEC. And in just year one in Baton Rouge, Brian Kelly proved all the doubters wrong. And now LSU comes in at number 6 in our way too early Gridiron Expert Top 25. So welcome back, guys, to the Gridiron Expert as we today break down LSU's schedule for this upcoming college football season, one where the Tigers are hoping to do even better than they did in 2022. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, check out everything down in the description below, and become a part of our GE Nation. Because, guys, here at the Gridiron Expert, football never dies. The season never ends. There is no off season. We are talking college football with you 24/7, 365, and we want you to become a part of it. Become a part of our GE Nation. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any of our future content, and let's get ready for another great season of college football. So we mentioned, guys, Brian Kelly proved all the doubters wrong. Well, how did he do it? He won the freaking SEC West in his first year in Baton Rouge. Slow start. They lost a heartbreaker to Florida State in the season opener. Everybody goes, here we go. He's going to struggle. It's going to be a rough year in year one. And he said, no, we're going to be fine. 0-1 start turned into a 10-4 finish. Champions of the SEC West, beating Alabama, was actually slightly in college football playoff consideration entering their season finale where they kind of laid an egg against Texas A&M. But LSU still made the SEC championship. They fell to the reigning or the ultimate national champions in Georgia 50-30, and then beat Purdue 63-7 in the Citrus Bowl to cap off a 10-win season. Kelly greatly exceeded expectations in year one, and now he's hoping to do the same in year two with the projected 10 starters back on offense, including quarterback Jaden Daniels, the entire offensive line, and a projected 5 starters back on defense. And take a look at the schedule, though, guys. LSU does have a pretty tough schedule, but so is life in the SEC, right? That's just how it goes. But you look, a season that is going to be filled and with optimism and high expectations could come crashing down within the first month. Take a look at this schedule, guys. This first month for LSU is brutal and will really define what this season could be for Brian Kelly and the Tigers. They open up the year in what could be a top 10 showdown against Florida State in Orlando. Last year, the two teams met in New Orleans, and it was a pretty wild battle. One where it looked like Florida State was going to win easily, and then they fumbled at the goal line in the final minute. LSU drove the length of the field, appeared to be able to go tie the game, and missed the extra point, or I should say the PAT was blocked. LSU lost the Seminoles 24-23. Florida State, very similar to LSU, kind of exceeded expectations last year, had a breakout season under Mike Norvell. They now return tons of starters on offense, including their quarterback, Jordan Travis. Should be a top 10, top 12 team to start the year. Going to be a very exciting matchup in Orlando. But very well could be another 0-1 start for LSU. Again, we'll predict this game here in just a few months, but something to be mindful of to start the year. One of those teams is going to lose. One top 10 team probably is going to lose in week one, and hopefully for the Tigers, it's not them. They play Grambling State afterwards. That should be a win either way. So the Tigers, in theory, should be 2-0 or 1-1 heading into their road game at Mississippi State. But then look at that. Their first 3 conference games, 2 of them are on the road. And if you extend it to Missouri, their first 4 conference games, the first 3 are on the road. At Mississippi State, they beat the Bulldogs 31-16 last year. Mississippi State got great news when Will Rogers decided to return for another year in Starkville, but new coach, obviously, on the devastating and tragic passing of Mike Leach. Zach Arnett is now the head coach in Starkville. He's going to change things up a little bit. How quickly will he be able to fix things? How quickly will Will Rogers be able to adapt? Can Mississippi State pull off the upset in Starkville? Although, again, this is not a Mississippi State team that's any slouch. A Mississippi State team that probably could win anywhere from 7 to 9 games in 2023. They then stay in Baton Rouge to take on Arkansas, an Arkansas team that was disappointing last year, but nearly beat LSU in Fayetteville without KJ Jefferson. The Razorbacks offense was atrocious last year, especially in the LSU game, having to play Malik Hornsby and then Cade Fortin, but LSU only won 13-10 in Fayetteville. So again, Baton Rouge, completely different animal, but Arkansas should have a healthy KJ Jefferson in this game. They return Rocket Sanders, added a key piece in the transfer portal. Not an easy game there. Arkansas beat LSU last time they played in Death Valley. Razorbacks clearly not afraid of Baton Rouge. And then LSU goes on the road to Ole Miss, a team they, yes, beat by 25 in Baton Rouge last year against a previously undefeated Ole Miss team, But now they have to go to Oxford to take on a Rebels team that's going to have a great quarterback, regardless of who lines up under center for Lane Kiffin. The king of the transfer portal, a guy that continues to reload instead of rebuilding. Oxford's certainly not going to be an easy place to play in this rivalry. So you look, guys, I mean, LSU could come out of the month of September with 2 losses. It would not be a shock to see them fall to Florida State, and it would not be a shock to see them lose one of those 3 SEC games we just mentioned against Mississippi State, Arkansas, or Ole Miss. It wouldn't be a shock. And with 2 losses, that would eliminate LSU from college football playoff contention, practically. Pretty much is what it is. I know that wasn't necessarily the case last year, but that's typically how it's been. Could be the case. SEC title hopes might not be dashed, but playoff hopes could be within the first month of the year. That would be tough for Tiger fans who have their sights set on another SEC title. Because you look at the rest of the schedule. At Missouri might not be that big of a concern for many. They're still trying to figure things out under Eli Drinkwitz, who, yes, got his team to a bowl game last year, but they lost that game. It's weird stuff happening in Columbia right now. They take on Auburn and Hugh Freeze, a team they beat by 4 last year. They do get to host Auburn in Death Valley, and Auburn should be a team that's a little bit better than they were last year under Brian Hardison, but still, how will they fare on a first-year head coach? They take on Army. Be fun to watch the triple option come to LSU. That'll be a fun game and a game that LSU should win. And then they get their bye week taking on Alabama. Really, after that key stretch that we mentioned, the month of September, the schedule is pretty favorable and pretty easy with the exception of the road trip to Tuscaloosa. That's what it comes down to. So if LSU can navigate the month of September as an undefeated team or a 1-loss team, the game at Alabama could ultimately decide the SEC West and could have major college football playoff implications. Because I don't think many people would pick LSU to lose to Missouri, Auburn, Army. After Alabama, they host a Florida team that's still trying to figure things out in year 2 under Billy Napier, will not have the riches of Anthony Richardson at their disposal. A Florida team they beat by 10 last year in the Swamp. Georgia State, and they host Texas A&M, who beat LSU 38-23, now has to come to Death Valley trying to ruin senior night. I don't know if that would happen, especially with A&M still fixing together so many key new pieces, including a new offensive coordinator in Bobby Petrino, who will be a huge addition to the team and will drastically change that offense. But can he do it in year 1? And would they have enough to beat LSU in Death Valley with revenge on the Tigers' mind? So again, after the month of September, the lone tough game after that is on November 4th at Alabama, a team they beat by 1 in overtime last year. Brian Kelly opting to go for 2 in that game instead of kicking the extra point. We had seen LSU lose a game on a botched extra point against Florida State. He didn't want to take that risk again. He went for 2. They got it. They stunned the nation, beat Alabama. Ultimately was a deciding factor in terms of winning the SEC West. All could come down to that again on November 4th. So again, LSU's schedule comes down to the month of September and 1 game in November. That's going to define the Tigers' season. That's going to determine whether or not LSU is a college football playoff contender, whether or not they can win the SEC West again, or whether or not they fall a little bit short. And I wouldn't say regress in year 2 under Brian Kelly, but do not reap the same benefits and do as well from an accolade standpoint as they did in year 1. Last year, they shocked the nation. They shocked the SEC by winning the West, a West division that many thought was going to go to Alabama or maybe A&M back in the preseason, but those were dashed in week 2. LSU has the talent to do it again. This team is loaded. But you will truly know what this LSU team is made of by the time that September is over. Wake me up when September ends, because that's what's going to happen for LSU. We will know what the season could be by the time that September ends. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks, including our website, thegridironexpert.com, including everything that's there to help you get through this offseason, because here at the Gridiron Expert, football never dies. This season never ends here at the Gridiron Expert, and we want you to become a part of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.